So this is a quick video on a new Predbat feature today, which allows you to override the plan. So if you have a look at your plan, which you can either see on the charts or on the plan tab, obviously this has been optimized for the minimal cost or maximum profit, should you be able to export as well. Sometimes though, maybe you think you know better, or you don't think it's doing a particularly good job and you want to change it. Maybe something's happening, like you need some extra charge or whatever. So the new feature allows you to override things manually. So the alternative method to this would be to go into read-only mode and then control the inverter with your own automation. But this is a bit finer grained than that. So what you'll find is there's some new drop-down menus for manual force charge, manual force discharge, and manual force idle. So manual force charge kind of does what you might expect. It starts a 30-minute charging slot. Force discharge, obviously, it starts a 30-minute discharge slot. The force idle essentially stops either charging or discharging during that slot. So it won't allow Predbat to schedule anything during that time. So if I look at my plan now, I've got some charges as soon as I get to my cheap rate, and then I've got a little bit of cycling of charge and discharge here because my export rate's higher than the import, and then a final charge to get to 100%. So that's a reasonably good plan. But let's say I wanted to do something else. Let's say I wanted to force an export here at 1:30 AM. So if I go to the controls here and I go to manual force discharge and I select the time, so if you look at the times, it comes from now for the next 18 hours. And so when you select something, it will stay there until it passes that time, and then it will drop off the list. So I'm going to select the 1:30 AM. And you have to wait a little while for this to update because it's got to actually update your plan. So while it's updating, if you click on here, you can see that this will have changed here, but the plan won't have yet updated. And if I look on the drop-down menu, the item that's been selected should be in square brackets. If it was in the middle of calculating your plan at the particular moment, this wouldn't happen quite yet. You'd have to wait until the plan calculation is finished and then it'll update. So just give it a bit of time, or go and check the log file if you're not sure. So now if I go back to my plan, and I'm just going to wait a second for it to update, and we can see here it has actually updated, and it's got a discharge at 1:30 AM, and the upside down F means it's forced, which means the user's overridden it, and that will should just stick there now. Of course, the rest of the plan will adjust to compensate for what I've actually done here. So it will adjust for the thing. So if I put another discharge slot at 2 AM, then what I might see is that it'll have to move the other discharge slot. Let's give that a try. So I'll select that one, and you can see now that it's changed to 1:30 AM and 2 AM. You can see this in the selector. What I find often is the selector doesn't update properly until you refresh. I don't know why. I think it's deliberate in Home Assistant that when you select the drop-down option. So now you can see it's set correctly, and then I just need to wait a second for this to update. And there we go. So now we've got a discharge slot here, and the other one's gone because I can't quite get to 100% now. I'm starting at 99%, so it's removed the other one. So I've not necessarily made the plan better compared to what it was originally, but it's doing what I tell it. Let's try a force charge now. So if I go to, let's say, I'm going to do 11 AM, and I'm going to try 11:30 as well. So the 11:30 hasn't taken yet because it's already starting to update the plan from the 11, so I may have to wait. Let me just pause it while it's waiting. So you can see the 11:30 has been added on now. It's in the second cycle of it running, because when you change a setting, that starts to run, and then the other setting updates can't happen until after the run completes. So it depends on how fast your system is. So you can see the 11 a.m. ones appeared, and I'll just wait a bit longer and the 11:30 should appear. And there we go, we've got the 11:30 one now. Of course, now because I've charged earlier in the day, I'm now predicted to have some electricity left over, and therefore the new discharge slot appeared at 10:30 at night to get us back down. But obviously that's more expensive because I've just charged at day rate, so maybe not the best plan. What I shall do now is I shall clear these. You can either click on the individual ones in brackets to cancel them, or you can click reset, and I'll get rid of that. Let's get rid of the manual force discharge as well. And I'll go back to the plan and wait for it to update. Okay, so those are gone. Let's just try the idle feature. So let me see, I'm going to try an idle at midnight, for example. So let's go down to here, force idle, and so midnight here. And then let's go back to the plan. I'll just give it a sec to update. And so there we go, the force idle's appeared, so we've got a gap in the schedule. This little upside down F shows that it's forced. Obviously the charge will continue later. As a result, one of those discharges will have disappeared because it doesn't have time for it anymore. So now you can see the gap there. So there you go. So this is how the force settings work. Hopefully you find it useful to play around with, and obviously just check out your costs when you're doing the forces, because most of the time doing it will make things more expensive rather than cheaper. But obviously if you know better, there's a reason why you need to override. Maybe you need to charge some more at a certain time because you know you've got extra load, then that might be worth considering. Thanks then.